What a win. Cowboys take down the fraudulent Eagles 24-21. We made an insane comeback to secure that win. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So let's talk about it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, let's start this video with the offense. That first half was miserable. Miserable. We were ruined by miscues on the offense. Turpin and CD both fumbled, and we had an interception in the end zone when we desperately needed it. It's later in the game, but still, it was just miserable for the Cowboys. So that interceptions, fumbles, turnovers on downs, it was bad. Bad play calling, bad formations, bad flags. Not good. But with 22 minutes, 31 seconds left, we scored a touchdown. Gave us a little bit of breathing room there. We were still down 2 touchdowns, 2 scores. Thankfully, the defense saved us, and we scored again at the end of the third. We made up with a field goal and a touchdown to win the game. That defense saved us. Saved us. Rejuvenated us. But our offense was able to get that game done. Able to score those points. Dak broke the record for franchise passing yards. My boy Rain Dakota Prescott had 354 yards on the night with 2 TDs, 1 rushing where he backflipped into the end zone, and he had 1 bad interception, which look at it was just bad decision making. It wasn't more or less the throwing. The run game was good throughout the game. Javonte Williams and Malik Davis set up good runs, and there was 125 rushing yards on the night. Passing game was even better, though. George Pickens and CD had a combined 221 yards. Along with the other guys, it was insane. And George Pickens was 9 for 9 on targets and receptions. That is insane reliability, consistency, and as he said in the interview, execution. Every time he was throwing the ball, he caught it. Just at this point, just throwing his general vicinity. Whoosh, 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 and he's going to catch it. When you have a great passing game like that, and you combine that with a good running game, you make things happen. You do good. Dak breaks the record for franchise passing yards, and you have 354 yards on the night, and you make that comeback, especially when you play complimentary football. And let's talk about that complimentary football, my man. Let's talk about it. Our defense saved us. We all know that. We all know that. We had 6 or 7 stops. All right. But the big thing about that was that our defense started giving up around 17 points in the first quarter. It was 14. My bad. It was 14 points in the first quarter, and to start off the second, they scored another touchdown in a couple minutes. I was watching that game, and I was looking, it's the same old defense again. We were creating pressures, sure, but we weren't getting the sacks, and that continued. We got 1 sack on the night from Osa Okadiwazua. I can't say his name to save my life. But after that horrible first quarter and horrible first start to the second, didn't allow a single point. Not one point the Eagles scored. Not one. They were stopped every single time they got it, either by a turnover and they had a punt, or it was because of fumbles. Like, for example, they fumbled on a punt, and Elijah Clark, my man from Syracuse, I'm a Syracuse fan, by the way, was able to run that down, get the guy, make him fumble, and then Trent Sieg, a long snapper, recovered it. Pretty good. But it's just that insane performance by the defense. The Eagles' run game was shot down and peed on. It was an endangered eagle. There was 63 yards allowed in total. In total, not by Saquon, not by the arguably the best running back last year. No, that was in total. 33 yards were just from Jalen Hurts, which he's a hard guy to stop. on in the run game. He's a big guy and he runs decently fast. But Saquon had like 22 yards on the night out of like 20 attempts. He averaged 2.2 yards a attempt. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And the DBs at first were getting blown away, busted, dusted. It was I was watching that. And I was like, they just couldn't get up to him. Like Carson, a lot of times he was just not able to catch the guys. Like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are fast and they're very physical. So they were able to take care of our corners for a while, but we adjusted. We got those mistakes and we improved from them. Jalen Hurts had some great throws. He was a pretty good pocket passer on the night. Did pretty good, and we didn't really lock down a lot of those receivers for a while, but we were able to stop those big plays, and we prevented a lot of those receptions by just swarming them like ants. And we had lots of pressure, plenty of pressure on Jalen Hurts. And at first half, he was kind of just getting through it. He was still making good passes. He would just run away from it because that O line is just so capable of stopping us, like just like last time, pretty much. But we had that one sack which he just couldn't stop. But that pressure eventually got to his head. He eventually was forced to make bad decisions, bad throws, throwing the ball away, and that's turnover, 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 over and over again. And also, let's be honest here, me, a lot of Cowboys fans, a lot of people outside of the Cowboys hated Matt Eberflus, and rightfully so. He made a lot of mistakes, a lot of problems. But with these new players coming back from injury and these players coming from the trade portal, he recovered his reputation. This defense is different. It's not the same. And I remember saying this after the Raiders game that this defense could be different. This defense proved that it is different. They made sure it was different. And they're going to continue to be given those opportunities to say, hey, we're for real. Hey, we're going to win you games. Hey, you need to play complementary football. And when we do, we're going to blow out the opponent every single time. Because, yes, the Eagles aren't the best offense, but this defense went from being one of the worst to an absolutely amazing performance. Not a lot of teams made that performance that week. How many teams do you know stopped a team from scoring once throughout pretty much the entire second half of the game? How many teams do you know did that? Not a lot, right? Not a lot of teams did that to the Super Bowl winning champions. Not a lot of teams. And Eberflus was a big reason for that. He mixed up a lot of the plays, which, as I said, it works. When you mix up the plays, it works. There's a lot of DB blitzes, and there's a lot of mixing of those offensive formations. There's a lot of man. There's a lot of zone. There was a lot of DB blitz. I saw a lot of those DB blitzes. You can see Reddy Stewart just coming at him or whatever. And that's what you want to see. You want to see difference. You want to see difference makers. When you do the exact same thing, your opponent just eventually figures out what you're going to do. If you just mix it all up, jumble it up, throw it in a trash can, pick it up, and then jumble it together again, that's how you know you don't know. The offense cannot predict all that. When you're just mixing up like in a ball together, you can't predict that, or it's at least a lot harder to. And especially with an offensive coordinator that is just dreadful, like the Eagles have, you take advantage of those opportunities. That defense makes something. And Overshown and Revel Jr. were a big felt effect part of that. I mean, they didn't have the numbers, they didn't have the sacks, they didn't have the interceptions. But what they did have is they made their effect. They stopped plays. They stayed with their guy. They were consistent. They would stop those plays. They would have the TFLs. They would have those plays, and they helped that defense do what it did. Without them, I don't know if we would have won that game. but we did. We had them there, and we did win that game. And that's that. That's the defense. So let's get to the takeaways that we have because I have four of them, and they're all very interesting. So let's get to it. I got myself four takeaways. Usually I have three or five, but this time I got four. So first of all, that defense is for real, and that defense is ready to go on a run. Raiders game, we didn't really know because you could make the excuse that hey, oh, it's the Raiders. Oh, it's the Raiders O line. They suck, which that may or may not be true. It is. Sorry, Raiders fans. But when you beat the Super Bowl winning champion, the Eagles, our biggest rival, our division rival, a game that means so much, a game that it puts us in that bottom feeder tier of playoff chances to a little bit above that, which is now we have a 12% chance. And if we keep winning games because of this defense and because of complementary football, then that goes from a 12 to like maybe a 20 to like a 30. And if we beat the Lions, we go all the way to beating the Lions, like all those wins straight, and then we beat the Lions, that's a 49% chance that we make it. That's basically half. And that defense will be the cause of that. If our defense keeps playing like this, which they can, they have proved that they can beat these good teams, then we are ready to go on a run. And we can do it. It is possible. Second takeaway here is that this offense can play seriously good football against elite defenses. But we need more consistency. And we need better complementary football. When our defense is doing good, our offense needs to take advantage of those opportunities. Because we can't just expect our defense to keep holding them back every single time. We got lucky this time. We got saved by our defense. But that's not going to happen every time. We don't know if that's going to happen against the Chiefs. We don't know if that's going to happen against the Lions. Heck, we don't even know if that's going to happen against the Vikings, which it probably won't against the Vikings. But when we're facing these good teams, we have a big hard streak. These two teams that we're going up against the next 2 weeks are very difficult to face. Very good teams, and that definitely want that playoff spot, and that they want it just as much as we do. So there's no they want it more than us. We have to win those games, and that's coming from a consistent offense and consistent defense. So we got to play that complementary good football, and we can play complementary good football. On third takeaway, George Pickens. This guy is an alien. He is not human. This guy is not real. He's an anomaly in the system. He had 9 receptions and out of 9 targets. Every time you gave him the ball, he caught it. Every single time. Every time. He caught it. He lost 2 people on one play and got a big reception from it. He's not human. And I think we got to pay him next year. Pay him this offseason, we got to do it. And my fourth takeaway, it's time to apologize to Eberflus. So I'm going to start the movement. I'm sorry. I was wrong. And it wasn't you, it was the players. I'm sorry, Eberflus. And that's all. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to make a preview for the Chiefs Thanksgiving game, so ring that bell so you can be updated when it comes around. Don't forget to like and share while you're at it. And remember, go Cowboys.